Hey friends, spending some time outside and want to talk about forgiveness again. If you didn't see last week's video, go check that out about the importance of forgiveness and why it's good for us. I want to talk today about what forgiveness is not. A lot of times when we say we're going to forgive somebody, there's a lot of kind of confusion that happens sometimes, and I want to just make sure that we can clear that up. So today, talking about what forgiveness is not. The first thing I want to tell you, forgiveness is not saying it's okay. Someone hurt you, someone abused you, that's not okay. And I remember growing up, we were taught, like, if somebody said sorry, you have to say it's okay. I want to just encourage parents, don't teach your kids that. You can teach them to say, I forgive you. That's an important thing to teach them. But don't teach them to say it's okay, because it's quite possible that the other kid's being a bully and they need to know that what they do is not okay. If you were hurt, what was done to you is not okay. It should not have happened. If you have to forgive somebody, that means what they did was not right. And a lot of times, especially, when people teach about forgiveness, we kind of neglect that important component of it. I remember a teaching that was done last year that we talked about how when Joseph forgave his brothers, you go to Genesis chapter 50. He said, what you meant for evil, God intended for good. He didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't deny the fact that what they did was evil. He said, no, yeah, you did something wrong. It was evil. And we got to call it what it is. We can't pretend that it's okay. So forgiveness is not saying it's okay. In fact, it's the opposite. It is acknowledging that I am letting go of bitterness, despite the fact that what you did was so hurtful and wrong. The other thing I want to share is forgiveness is not necessarily restored access. In some cases, it might be. But in a lot of cases, especially if the person hasn't changed their character, I wouldn't encourage you to let them back in your life. Consider Joseph earlier on in the story. When his brothers come to him, he didn't just be like, hey guys, what's up? I'm Joseph, and now I forgive you. Now it was in his heart to forgive them, but before he allowed them to know who he was and allowed them to have access to him, he put them through a very rigorous series of tests to make sure they weren't going to treat their other younger brother the same way that they treated him. And it wasn't until that they proved that that was no longer in their character that he allowed them back into their lives. When you forgive somebody, what you're doing is letting go of the bitterness. You're letting go of the hurt. You're letting go of the power that they have over you because of what they did. You're not necessarily letting them back in your life. And especially if they haven't shown that they've changed from what they used to do, and not just the fake, plea for forgiveness, and not just making short strides that allow you to say, well, maybe he's different now. Truly, genuinely change and showing evidence over a long period of time that they're no longer abusive, no longer hurtful. In that case, you can allow them back in your lives. But if they haven't shown that, they don't deserve access to you. And you can forgive them without giving them access. So forgiveness is not saying it's okay. Forgiveness is not giving them access. We're going to talk one more week about forgiveness. I hope you continue to join us. God bless you.